Hey, what's up? It's Jeff. I just got back from The Great Escape in Madison, Tennessee. Um, just in case someone other than Jeremy and Corey are watching this, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and the comic book store that's nearest to my house is called The Great Escape. They actually just moved recently, and I went to their new location for the first time today. It's in Rivergate, next to the mall, and I like the location better actually than their previous one. But I one thing I really like to do when I go there is just sort of dig into their 50-cent boxes, and I could sit there for an hour or two just kind of digging through a couple boxes, and like I went there today and they didn't have any 50-cent boxes, so I was a little disappointed because the stuff that I buy is obviously not, valuable or collectible necessarily. Like, people aren't, these two books that I have here are not in high demand at all. But it's just the kind of stuff that I like, I have a thing for 90s comics because it's very nostalgic to me. So in one of my previous videos, I was showing you that I went to the Great Escape in Nashville on Charlotte Pike, and I got these four, and I got all these out of like a 50-cent box at that location, and so all of these together cost me $2. And I was like, oh, I'll see if there's how many other Whilce Portacio X Factor books there are. And I looked it up, and I only need like 3 more to have all of them. And so I was like, I make up these collections in my head when I'm looking through 50-cent dollar boxes and stuff. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can put together a whole run and spend $1 or less on each issue. And so right now I'm like trying to find all of the Whilce Portacio X Factor books. And I only need 1 more. And they did have it there, but they wanted like $3 for it. And I was like, nope. It's got to come from like a dollar or a 50-cent bin box, because it's always really exciting when you actually find the one you're looking for. Like these two. I felt this little jolt of excitement when I ran across them. These were some dollar boxes that they had out. So it's weird because I always thought of myself as a pretty big Whilce Portacio fan, but like it's crazy like that I did not already own some of these books. Not the best baby face, but he was a young man when he drew this. I'm sure he's learned. Also, drawing babies is difficult. And I'm wondering if he maybe like based this drawing off of himself or a relative. Kind of resembles Whilce a little bit. Yeah. Just bought this for the cool artwork. Like everything else I buy. I was like, is this supposed to be Cyclops? But I was like, oh, he doesn't have the visor, but it's Bobby Drake, I believe. It's supposed to be Iceman, just not in ice form. Well, if I can just have a hard time flipping this. 1991, so I would have been 11 or 12 when this book came out. This would have been like right around the time I started collecting comic books too. Oh wait, check it out. Dracula's Curse for NES. I didn't really play this one much. I played the first one a lot, and I played the fourth one a lot. But so I got X Factor 64 and X Factor 69. Oh, we all had these guys. Actually, I think I still have a full set of those somewhere. Let's see. Task Force X inkers. I assume that just means like a bunch of people helped out on inking and they didn't feel like going through and crediting everyone. Yeah, you can tell this is inked by a bunch of different people. Like this almost looks like it's drawn by 2 different people. Interesting. Yeah, this was probably one of those books where it was like, you know, the deadline was approaching and Will's just like got a bunch of help from whoever was around to help ink it and stuff. This coloring's a little weird in some spots, off register, but I mean, that happens. All right, so this is not the best example, but it's not terrible either, though. Anyway, got these 2 guys. And then I also, while I was looking through the dollar boxes, I've been wanting to put together a run of all of the Walt Simonson Fantastic Four books. And so I picked up a bunch of Fantastic Four books out of those dollar boxes. I won't go through every single page on these, but do a quick little flip through. I'm a big fan of Walt Simonson, and I think his art on Fantastic Four is awesome. This is also like around the time I started collecting comics as a kid. So this is 1990. So this would have been like, I mean, I already had comics before that, but I feel like when I really started collecting them and, you know, the addiction took hold would have been in 6th grade. So that was like 91, I think. So, but I did already own a lot of comic books before this. You know, of course, when the Batman movie came out in '89, I started begging my mom for like Batman comics every time we went to the grocery store. So I had a bunch of Batman books at this point, but it wasn't until like the first week of school, maybe the first day of school in 6th grade, this kid turned around and asked if I liked comic books, and I was like, yeah, I like comic books. And he was like, check this out. And he laid down a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 350. And I was like, whoa, who drew this? I was like, I love this artwork. And I asked him if it was the guy in the Levi's commercial, and he's like, no, that's Rob Liefeld. He's like, the guy that drew this is Eric Larson. So, but Eric Larson didn't draw this. He drew, this is Walt Simonson, as I was saying. Really awesome opening splash page, but I'm also really distracted by this video game ad. The artwork on this is super cool. I love these like alien monsters, but it's all like hand painted looking. That's really cool. But yeah, love this opening splash page. Walt Simonson is such a good artist. I was actually, that's really cool. Just like, I wonder if he had to get paid for this big blank page. Also, remember this movie? I haven't seen this in years, but I love the artwork for the ads on those. Oh, check that out. It's a nice Galactus. Oh, how cool is that? Man, love Walt Simonson. One time, I went into a McAllister's in Franklin, Tennessee, and I saw this guy sitting by himself eating alone, who to me looked exactly like Walt Simonson. And I did like a double take, and then I even like left and then came back in because I was like, I gotta see if that's him. And I like, Googled his Google image just to, compare, and it looked just like him. But I was like, why would Walt Simonson be in a McAllister's in Franklin, Tennessee? And I looked it up, and he's from Knoxville, so, but I don't think it was him. Let's see. It's interesting. And this is inked by someone else, so it's amazing how much of a difference an inker makes. But it says it's penciled by Walt Simonson, but what's this guy's name who inked this? Oh no, sorry. I got it mixed up here. It says writing Walt Simonson, but it's penciled by Rich Buckler and inked by Romeo Tunghal. Is that how you say that? I don't know. Okay, so that's why this art looks so different. I thought like it said that Walt Simonson had penciled this. It's like, wow, the inker's really heavy-handed here. But no, this is a different art team altogether. So Walt just did the cover on this one. And this is a book, I think I might already have this one, but I wasn't totally sure. I know I had this as a kid, but I think this is one of the books that I got rid of in my early 20s. But yeah, this is definitely Walt Simonson artwork. Really awesome stuff. There's the Fantastic Four in their underwear. That's the main reason to get this book, right? Anyway. So, those are the Fantastic Four books I got. But I also got a few other rando books. I got another copy of Fantastic Four for $347. I have at least one other copy of this. I think I have 2 copies of this somewhere, but it's just one of those books that, like, when I see it, I can't help it. Especially if it's only $1. I was like, I'll pick that up for $1. Also, this one is in really great shape. I don't see any kind of like spine damage or anything on it. So this may be just like a nicer copy than one of the ones I already have. So maybe this could replace it. Also, printing on the inside looks great. Everything looks registered. Just a nice copy for $1, I can't resist this comic book. There's certain books when I see them in a 50-cent box or $1 box, I just, even if I already have them, I have this urge to buy them, and it's an urge I don't usually resist. But yeah, I love these 3 issues that Art Adams did of the new Fantastic Four. Always really love this splash, or not, I guess it's not a splash page, but just this panel of Mole Man. Oh, yeah. Every page of this run is just classic to me. This page is awesome. I love the Ghost Rider driving up the wall, and I always love the way Art Adams draws Ghost Rider. Like, remember he did that Marvel Series 2 trading card of Ghost Rider? I always thought that one was one of the better looking Marvel 2 cards. And then what else did I get? Oh, back to Walt Simonson and X Factor. So Walt Simonson also did a run on X Factor, so I'll probably start collecting those too. But I got this one just because I love the cover. I think just a really cool dynamic cover, which I feel like modern comics don't do dynamic covers as well as they did in the 90s. Now I feel like a lot of comic book covers, particularly like teen comic books, look like, like band photos or something. It's just the superheroes kind of standing there looking serious, I like something that really like jumps off the page, So Just some more Walt Simonson art. But, wait a minute. So I know Archangel's first appearance was around this time. Is this like a cameo first appearance? Or had he already appeared at this point? Something I would look it up, but I'm using my phone right now to record this video. So I'll look it up after this video, but pretty cool cover. Okay, so here's another one that I had as a kid, and I think I got rid of in that big box of comics in my early 20s. But just saw it and made me feel nostalgic because I used to have it as a kid, but also the cover by Mike Mignola, which I love this cover. It looks so cool. But Mike did not draw the interior art, but this guy that drew this, I actually remember even as a kid thinking this artwork looked really good, but I don't know any other books this guy's done. It's Kirk Järvinen? I don't know. Järvinen? I'm butchering that name, sorry. Joe Rubinstein was the inker on this, and I actually saw Joe Rubinstein just a couple weeks ago at a comic book convention. I didn't talk to him, but I did see him. He had a table there. But he inked this book, and I like this guy's style. You know, it's got very, like, it's almost got sort of a early Joe Madureira kind of look, but like before Joe Madureira. And yeah, I don't know. There's like I can't really like put a finger on who this is reminding me about. I mean, this is fantastic. Look how good this beast face is, and I love this Archangel right here. I need to do some Googling and see if I can find some other stuff that this guy's done, because I love kind of the cartoony quality of this, but it's, you know, it's just in the right mix of like serious comic, but also with cartooniness in there. Like this almost reminds me of like Dave Stevens. Maybe this guy's like influenced by Dave Stevens, and but yeah. Anatomy's great. Like all the characters have different faces, and their faces are consistent from panel to panel, which, you know, a lot of artists have a hard time with that, myself included, even though I don't draw a lot of comic books, but sometimes I do. If I can get this apart, let's see what we got. Anyway, after I make this video, I'm gonna look this artist up, but nice group shot there. I mean, it's a nice book. If you could find it, I'm sure you can. It's in dollar boxes, 50-cent boxes. All right, I got two more here. Let's just do Savage Dragon. So obviously I already have Savage Dragon #1, but I don't know if you remember this or not, but Savage Dragon #1 had a different poster. There was 4 different posters on the inside, and the way you could tell was the coloring on the logo at the top was different for each poster, and I only had my one copy of Savage Dragon #1 for like 30-something years, and then kind of recently I just decided like I should, you know, look out and see if I could find the other 3 versions. And so whenever I see a Savage Dragon #1, I check to see if they have the, you know, the poster that I don't already have. I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 that I don't have. I couldn't remember which one I didn't have, and I didn't open up the bag and board this was in at the store. I just looked at the green and I was like, I think I might have green, but I'm not sure. And I do. But this is my favorite poster of the 4. that came out, so don't mind having a second one of these. In fact, now that I have 2 of these, maybe I should hang one up in my office. And the last one here is Uncanny X-Men number 300, which I'm just now noticing has like, looks like maybe a piece of tape got on it right there and somebody had to peel it off, and then it looks like they took a Sharpie or something and colored over it. I can't tell, but this is another book I had in that box that I gave away years ago. It's another spot. I just noticed this. But anyway, I saw this book recently at another comic book store and thought about getting it, but I think they were charging like $4 or $5 or something for it, and I was like, I don't want it that bad. But it was in this dollar box, and I was like, all right, for $1, I'll pick that up. This is probably why it was only $1, because it has these little spots. But honestly, I keep pointing them out, but they don't really bother me that much. It's fine. This is not a book I was wanting to pick up because I thought it would be valuable or anything. I just got it because, again, I had this as a kid. It's kind of nostalgic to me, and I think the artwork in this book is great too. John Romita Jr. Also remember Fire in the Sky. That was a great movie. But yeah, I always really dug the artwork on the interior of this book a lot. Even the Nightcrawler with the mullet. Don't love that hairstyle for him, but the drawing is solid, though. I really like John Romita Jr. It's a cool double splash. But let's see. Anyway. It's weird, like I gave her that box of books away years ago, and now I'm kind of slowly reacquiring all the books that I gave away back then. Brandon Peterson on pencils. So this would have been some early Brandon Peterson. I wonder if this is before he went to Image. Dan Panosian on inks. Mentioned him in one of my previous videos. He's doing that new Punisher comic. Al Milgrom also on inks. Scott Lobdell on script. Yeah. Anyway, that was it. That's the whole haul that I got today. A bunch of dollar books from The Great Escape in Rivergate. All right, see you later.